Now, was it challenging working with Icehouse? I mean, they are a bunch of colonials,
They are, yes.
and I mean sometimes, but every once in a while you have to
Yeah,
enlighten your colonial brothers on how to do things. Was it an easy relationship with those guys? Because that band had some success.
yes, yes, we did well. It was, yeah, it was a really great time because we were having hits, not all the time, but we had our times where we had hits. We are on the radio, we are on TV, we toured the world several times, and during that time we played a concert for Prince Charles and Princess Diana, as was
Right.
then. The bicentennial concert. We also were on Tonight with Johnny Carson, and
Hmm.
video from that's just been and released after all this time. So we had some really good times, but they were easy guys to get on with. Yes,
So, I think the first song I heard from Icehouse was written by you or co-written by you, which was crazy.
right.
I've got a pocket full of holes, head in the clouds, the king of fools. You've got a ribbon of rainbows, the sun in your eyes, burning through. Could be I'm happy, I'm sad, could be I'm losing my head over you. Well, you gotta be crazy, baby, to want a guy like me. Yeah, you've gotta be out of your mind, crazy.
Here's how you know that's going to be a rock and roll classic. That was produced by David Lord, who'd worked with Tears for Fears and Peter Gabriel,
Right.
and he was convicted of running a brothel. Nothing says rock and roll like that conviction.
That is very true. Yes, he was very rock and roll. He didn't look very rock and roll, and we were all very taken back when all that came to light. But he was actually a good guy to work with in the studio, and that side of his life didn't come into it for us.
Hey, buddy, I'm nobody's judge. I'm nobody's judge.
Right.
Whatever David Lord does with willing participants is on him. But actually, that video too was sort of, if I remember right, was like loosely based on the Play Mystery for Me
Yes,
concept with Clint Eastwood.
absolutely. Yes, it was with the DJ being stalked by a woman, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was interesting video. Play crazy for me is what it was instead of play misty for me.
Right. But that must have been a moment for you, right? To see that come to life in a video. I mean, the guy that directed that, he did things for Poison and The
Yeah,
Outfield at the time. He was a well-known director. And
no
he
job.
and I don't know if you had a chance to weigh in the concept or if that's decided by the record
Oh
companies or
no, well, certainly me personally, or the band had nothing to do with that. Whether either the singer may have been brought into it, but probably not because it was made for the US market, and
Mm.
I, they would trust any of us lots to know what's best for that.
Well, at
So
that
it was.
time though, walk me through that moment though where you're like, "Oh my gosh, that's a song I co-wrote
Mhm.
that's now
Yeah.
climbing the charts, video." Like you must have like that's like that bolt of lightning moment where you realize you can call your old teacher back at school and say, "I made it."
Yeah, well, I guess, yeah. Well, actually, the reason that I got to, because I always wanted to be a songwriter. I mean, I've always been a songwriter, but
Hmm.
the singer, Ivor, it was his band and he would do the writing. And I was always say, come on, Ivor, let's write a song, let's write a song. And, once in a while, maybe I'd get a B-side. But I co-wrote another song for another Australian artist, John Farnham, a song
Yeah.
called Your, which was a huge hit. It was number one for 7 weeks in Australia, and it was number one in other countries. So I finally said, Ivor, let me have a chance. Let's write a song. So he said, all right then. So I came around to his place, and Crazy is what we came up with. So and then that was the first single from the album. So yeah, I was getting very excited by this point. And then of course it got in the charts, and it got in the American charts, and yeah, it was like, what's going on? Yeah. spend all these
That's
spend all these years doing not much, and all of a sudden, wow.
right. Like it just all of a sudden you're in the center of the hurricane,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know?
Yeah,
And then like all these doors open up for you, not just business wise, but also socially, right? So like things are
yeah.
kind of like you getting momentum. Like all of a sudden your band, because of this song, is like wanted to play in all these unique places. So give me an example of how life changed. All right. This thing hits and then your the world of you and the band like kicks into high gear, what's the first crazy thing that happens? Not to use the word crazy with the song
Right.
Crazy.
Well,
But what kind of happens at that point?
Well, we start getting offers to do tours opening for people. For example, we did David Bowie's Serious Moonlight tour. We did many of his shows in Europe for that. I mean, that itself, you can't really get much bigger than that. We played, for example, we played in the Netherlands, in Rotterdam, at the football stadium, 75,000 people a night for 2 nights. And then we'd play 50,000 for 3 nights in the UK, and it was just like absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then we opened for the Cars and on a tour over here, and it's all that kind of thing. You just don't expect that to come along.
Now with Bowie, he's major influence. Obviously, we had him attached to a movie when we were at Warner Brothers, and we were just excited at the prospect. So did you get a chance to experience some of the Bowie machine when you're opening for him, or is it kind of like two camps? Like he's on one, or did you get to engage with him?
We did, yes, some of us more than others. And Bowie, he would always want to go out and hang with everybody, but he really, because 2 or 3 minutes into it, hey, look, Bowie's over there, and then he mobbed. So he did try a couple of times to come out, but it was really hard for him. But the bands, we got on well. The musicians got on well. We'd hang out quite a lot. Yeah.
And did he have a moment? Did you have like one of those like iconic Bowie moments that people sometimes have or had in his presence? Do you have like where there's gospel music and Bowie's there?
Well, I've got 2. One of them is when the first show, we were doing our sound check, and we looked to the side of the stage right behind where I was, and Bowie was standing there watching us sound check. So somebody says, what song are we going to play? And then somebody suggested, well, let's do Let's Dance, which was his latest song. Mm-hmm. So we're playing Let's Dance, and Bowie's standing there like 5 feet away. I mean, I thought this is kind of slightly embarrassing, but he seemed to take it in good spirit. He seemed to think it was pretty amusing.
Probably.
That was great. The other one was in an afternoon. He was standing on the stage being filmed, and he was saying, I want my MTV. And we're from England. We don't know what MTV is. We had no idea why he kept saying, I want my MTV. And they're filming it. And I remember standing there watching it. Then years later, there's a coffee table book came out about the Serious Moonlight tour. And you open it up at one point, there's a 2-page photograph of Bowie doing that, and you can see me standing down there watching him.
That's what I like, man. Get yourself immortalized in these coffee table books.
Right.
Hey guys.
We're the Tennessee Werewolves.
Hey guys, help us here at MOSD. Along with your cancer.
Yeah. Go to the Guthrie Jackson Foundation. Donate. Every dollar counts. So whatever you give, they need your help.
Absolutely.
Bring
it
out.
Yeah.